very interesting idea. How do we embrace the reality that people are going to stay for a very short time, and we still want to use technology to thrive in that kind of environment? Other members of the panel? Anybody?
Yeah, I do. This is Steve Glaiser. I just wanted to jump in on the whole idea of retention. I think that it's all of the tools that are out there, everything that everyone uses, the focus on the people is actually where we get lost, where we get pulled apart. So if HR tech is the center, the ecosystem, and you work your way outward, that fan out, sorry, I have an EE background. You look at the churn of individuals and folks in companies, everyone talks about retention and how they want to try to retain them. And they're using upskilling or high perf programs, and they're trying to get people engaged. But what's interesting is they're using tech on sort of an odd sort of a perspective. They're coming at this from a different direction. They're using tech to try to monitor. And I know this has been around for a long time. I'm ex-Air Force. I kind of understand monitoring. I understand upskilling. I understand how to keep people engaged, because most of your programs within a military system are 1 to 2 year long stints. And if you look at my career, when I got out in the late 80s, most of the stuff I did, I've been at 15 startups, and I've actually been at major organizations running global quality organizations, things in engineering. And the key has always been getting back to the person. So what I'm interested in finding out from everyone here is, if you are going to talk about the broad of work tech or HR tech or any of the other types of pieces together, the partnership that I'm interested in is, how do you see solutions partnering with the person? I mean, we're talking about skills, but skills don't always do it. Sometimes it's all about how you get them engaged in the work and how you keep them interested and how you prove to them that you are interested in them. So what I'm interested in finding out, why I'm here, is I'd like to hear from other folks out there across the spectrum. What do they see as a solution, or how do they see trying to fold these things together?
And Steve, I'll be happy to address your question there, because it's timely actually with the work tech as a name, and I like the way that Vikas has kind of framed that, with collaboration on one side and productivity on the other. And like Yael was saying, you know, you have the different types of learning and training, and whether it's nudge learning or just-in-time training, I think that may be, Steve, is how it would help keep the employees engaged, because they're like, okay, I need to do this task. I'm not an expert at that yet. How do I become an expert, or at least more proficient or something, right? So feed them micro-learning and just-in-time type training, and then, you know, give them additional if they want to go there. And that, you know, that speaks volumes, I think, in terms of engaging the employee or contractor. You know, with the rise of the gig market continues to rise, and COVID certainly helped accelerate that. But developing the employees, you know, we heard from different folks here, it's so important, and it's hard. I know, Erica, you know, running a similar kind of virtual business without formal employees, but you know, there's definitely stakeholders, and some are, you know, extremely engaged, some are more kind of ad hoc as needed. How do you, you know, do you need to be concerned about their health and safety? I mean, that's traditionally HR's role, right? So health tech is kind of in there too, because if HR has been the concern of health and safety, it's coming back around now with COVID and these other issues, and even mental health, right? Working from home. Everybody's maybe cut out for it takes a transition time. HR is there. Is there HR tech to help with that? Sure, the collaboration tools help, productivity tools perhaps help. But it's, I don't know about all of you, but I think it's gotten busier for all of us, at least in HR tech, and you expand that, and as you guys painted, you know, or because as you painted the work tech, there's a lot to consider now, and I think a lot of it falls still on HR's role if they can handle it. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you just hit mental health. That's actually really where I'm going, is when I'm talking about the people. It is the health of the person mentally, right? And if it sounds like a lot of folks here have done distributed workforce. So I've had 160 team personnel in India. I mean, I've dealt with distributed work because I'm in engineering. That's my focus. So for me, I know what it's like when they're not close to you. And there used to be a saying, managed by the whites of their eyes, right? You come in, you want to have that physical presence. You want to touch, you want to see, you want to talk, you want to integrate with the person. And so when you get into mental health, that's where I'm kind of going again, or I'm going to tap on this one again. Tools don't do that. Tools have not been doing that. they actually kind of leave that, it's sort of a drift. We're all, oh, well, we'll give them a bunch of surveys and that's how we'll gauge it. Well, everybody's been in 6-month survey cycles, right? HR's been doing this for decades. I've seen it, I know it, but I don't do surveys. I go out and actually directly talk to the person. But I've had to do this digitally. I was in a University of Texas study way back in the late 80s around virtual work teams and workforces. And the whole idea here is it's always about the person. It's not a team. Yes, you want to gauge them, but that 3-stool accountability is key. And Yael actually got to that, which was that whole idea of accountability. How do you track that? Because that's still people, right? And if it's a 3-legged stool, there's a top of the stool, and that's where the ass sits. And that's the person in charge of the company. And that person has to really know what's going on. And I think we're back to people again. I'm going to keep doing it because I think the key here, what I want to see in work tech, if it happens, is the real threading between those 3 objects that Vikash put up.
Yeah, I think that you know, the whole role of technology should be to make life easier and to work better together. If you look at all the data which can be assembled through education, through health and so on, and that should be indicators to spend more time live together or virtual together. Because there's a lot of reports coming out right now, and also managers have even a harder job because you have to talk more and connect more to your people. So the role of technology should be, to take care of the basics almost, that you can do your work efficiently so that you have more time to talk to each other.
Yeah, it's a great point. And Ilanka, your comment earlier about ecosystem, any of the vendors supplying tech in the space, they've got to really, they've got to focus on the ecosystem as a primary go-to-market strategy, and it's hard to run the business, to build the tech and all these different things, and know what is out there beyond that. And part of our responsibility to the industry is we're building out a practice to be a navigator to help these HR tech exec leaders navigate the ecosystem, because it's constantly changing and it's evolving, and you could easily go off course without a navigator. And we think that's kind of the future. Just like a good manager would help the employee manage, they don't need to micromanage them. They should just help them navigate through their career or through their job. That's where I think the big opportunities are for engagement with the ecosystem.